Welcome back to Oddly Noted. Today we are going to be talking about vibrato. Just like with shifting, with vibrato you need to be able to hold your violin without the use of your left hand. For me, this is putting my instrument on my collarbone and using a shoulder pad to keep it up. In this video we're going to be introducing two different methods on how to learn vibrato. You can try out both and see which one works best for you. Throughout these exercises, I recommend that you have from your second joint all the way down to your elbow a pretty straight line, but you want to be really relaxed as well. First part of the exercise is to place your first finger on the shoulder of the instrument. You can go ahead and use the shoulder to the base of your palm right about here, and I want you to extend back slowly with your finger and just get used to that motion. You can do this about 10 times. Go ahead and do it with all of your fingers. Try the second finger next. You'll feel the tip of the finger rolling from tip to more of a flat position while you do this. You can do this fairly slow. Go ahead and try the third finger now. You will want to make sure that your joints are pretty loose, especially this first finger joint right here, and that you don't lock it and get stuck with it. Try the fourth finger. This is probably the hardest one. While you're doing your fourth finger, there's sometimes a tendency for the joint to collapse because it's fairly weak, like that. Make sure that you move your hand back and that you try and resist that urge to collapse your knuckle. Let's try some rhythms while we do it on the shoulder of the instrument. So let's do 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. Try this with all your fingers. Let's try a different rhythm with the same finger for now. Let's try triplet, 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 triplet. Good. I encourage you to make up some more rhythms to get used to the feel of that motion. The next step in this exercise is to move it onto the string. We're going to be using it on the E string, and we're going to be keeping our hand in contact with the instrument. So go ahead and take your first finger that was right here and now put it on the first string, which is the E string, and do the same motion back and forth. Keep in contact with the instrument with your palm. Good. Now try your second finger. Good. Now try your third finger. And finally your fourth, which will probably be the most difficult. If you can resist the urge to collapse the knuckle, that would be the best. Focus more on the hand instead of the knuckle, and that should help. The third step in our exercise is probably the most difficult. We're going to be moving the hand back now to first position, and we're going to be putting our first finger on the string. We're looking for the same motion as we pull back, but this time you don't have the bout of the instrument to rely on. Do this nice and slow, and keep aiming for the same sort of rolling feeling that you get at the tip of your finger. Good. Make sure you try it with the other fingers too. If you find that you're having some difficulties in transitioning from here all the way back to here, then let's try this next method. For this next method, we're going to be polishing our instrument. Make sure that you're holding your instrument with your jaw, without your hand. We're going to be polishing our instrument, so get used to the motion of going up and down, nice and easy. Making sure that you're closing our elbow right here. This is similar to the movement that you'd use for shifting. Now, go ahead and place your first finger on the string, just on the top of the string, and do the same motion. Make sure that your wrist and your hand are very relaxed. Now you try your second finger. Now try your third finger. And your fourth finger. Let's add another element to this exercise. If you happen to have a little tiny scrap of fabric, or perhaps a tiny washcloth lying around, go ahead and grab that, and I want you to put it on your instrument. Place your first finger on top of it and do the same motion, making sure that you're dragging the cloth across the string. Try it with a different finger now. Make sure to try this method with all of your fingers on each of the strings. Good, now that we have that motion down, we're going to be doing smaller and smaller movements. So we're going to take this and start doing smaller ones and even smaller ones, making sure that your hand never gets tight until finally we fix our finger on one point and continue the motion, rolling back from the tip. In regards to intonation, it's very important that the vibrato never goes above the center of the pitch. If it does, people pick up on that with their ears and it sounds out of tune. So you want to try and go from one point back, like that for your vibrato. Be sure to take this slow. If it takes you a while to get used to the shoulder of the instrument, that's okay.